Antifreeze, or sometimes just called coolant, is an additive that's used to bring the boiling temperature up and also at the same time bring the freezing temperature down of any liquid water-based solution. So antifreeze is what you use inside your engine's radiator, which circulates throughout the whole engine and keeps your engine cool. So what's the difference between using antifreeze and just water? Well, as I just said, antifreeze is going to make that range of temperatures that your engine can work in much wider. So it can go way hotter and way colder. So if you live in the northern United States in the winter, it's going to be able to run your engine at colder temperatures than freezing. So if you just use plain water, that water inside your engine is going to circulate, and if it gets cold enough, it's going to freeze. And when water freezes, it expands. And once this expands, it's going to crack your engine block, pretty much making your engine useless. And at the other end, the same. If it gets too hot and you're in the desert or something like that and the engine gets too warm and it can't stay cool, that water is going to literally evaporate, so it'll be gone. But then at the same time, your engine's going to get overheated and it's pretty much going to bind up and again make your engine useless. So there's actually going to be 4 different kinds of antifreeze out there, but the most common ones used in vehicles today is called ethylene glycol. It's going to have the lowest freezing point out of all of the different kinds of antifreeze, so that's the one that most vehicles are going to use. It's also toxic though, so make sure that you don't leave it sitting around if you're going to be working with it. It tastes very sweet and animals are usually really attracted to it. So if you go out and buy antifreeze, most of them will come in a diluted bottle already for you. Some do come in concentrated, so make sure to pay attention to the label on the container when you buy it, but it needs to be a dilution of 1:1. So 50% water, 50% of the coolant, usually the ethylene glycol. So if you do end up buying some antifreeze and it's not diluted, again, the ratio is 1:1, 50% water, 50% antifreeze. You can go up to about 75% antifreeze and 25% water, but that's going to be about the ratio that you're going to have to be in between. You do not go less than 50% on the antifreeze. And pretty much every antifreeze out there is going to have an additional additive at the end, which are phosphate and silicates, which are added to prevent corrosion inside of your engine. There's also going to be a dye added to make it a really bright color, usually like a blue or a green or a red or orange or something like that, to make it stand out from other fluids. So if you're ever leaking anything, it will show up under your car and you'll know exactly where it came from. Because as I said before, it's poisonous, so you want to make sure you clean it up right away. Also, the dye is usually visible with UV light, so if you have a black light, you can be able to shine it on your hoses to see if there's any leaks. So your antifreeze should last the lifetime of your vehicle, but due to those additions of the silicates and the phosphates for the corrosion prevention, those kind of break down and go away. So you're going to have to replace the fluid and have a flush about every 75,000 miles to make sure that those corrosion inhibitors are still working properly. So there you have it, guys. There's just a quick overview of what coolant or antifreeze is. Stay tuned. Next week, we'll be diving deeper into the coolant system. We'll see you guys there. Bye.